This has been described as the biggest secret evacuation scheme in British peacetime history. It involves thousands of Afghans being brought to this country to protect their lives, with Parliament not being told about it, with media organisations who knew about it being unable to report it, as a result of something called a superinjunction, which not only stops details being reported, but actually also stops you reporting the fact of the injunction in the first place. Those are quite rare. This is understood to have been the longest standing one of those that's ever been in place in our courts. This all came about in February 2022 when an MoD official made a terrible mistake. They were processing the details of Afghans who'd applied to come to this country on something called the Arap scheme, which was for Afghans who had worked with the British during the war there. As a result of what this official did, the personal details of some 19,000, nearly 19,000 Afghans were sent out. Now, we don't know where exactly they were sent to, but we do know that a year later, a number of the details appeared in public on Facebook. At that point, the government realised they had a huge problem that affected not just the 19,000 people whose details were on the list, but also potentially family members. Now that means potentially 80 or even 100,000 people were exposed to danger. So the government started this secret scheme, this secret Afghan relocation route to bring people to this country. A total of 6,900 people have been or are being in the process of being brought to Britain on that route to protect them. The scheme has been revealed today because a government-commissioned review has determined that the Taliban are no longer thought to be pursuing these people, or that at least the inclusion of their names on this list would not be the information the Taliban ultimately relied on to find them, given that the Taliban already have, as the government in Afghanistan, access to a great deal of information. And so the government says they can now reveal the existence of this scheme to the country. It has cost £850 million, or that's the expected cost of it, nearly the best part of £1 billion. And that can now be revealed today because they don't believe that these people are any longer a threat from the Taliban. I have to say, having spoken to the representative of some of these people, that is not the way they see it. They believe that their lives and the risks and the lives of family members are still very much at risk, because some of these are people who were senior military officers in the Afghan army, working along the Afghan National Army, working alongside the British. Some of them even worked for British and alongside British special forces, chasing down members of the Taliban during the war there. And they believe that their lives and the lives of their families are still very much at risk, despite the efforts that the government has gone to in secret to bring thousands of Afghans to this country to try and protect them.